And good evening. Welcome to the EriDan Film Festival. I'm Eric Schiemer. Dan Rosenberg lost in traffic, but I've heard he's on his way to talk about tonight's movie, which is going to be Iron Man, episode 67 of our show, and our 85th movie, Iron Man, featuring the amazing Robert Downey Jr. We've got so many people here lining up to talk about Iron Man, but we want you to join us too. So we invite you to log in at, where's the link? EriDan Live. There it is, EriDanLive.com. That'll bring you into the conversation so that you can talk with us. And if you don't want to talk with us live, you can actually just add your comments in the comments section if you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you might be watching us tonight. And as this always goes, we're going to bring in some people to talk to us. So let's bring in the writers. All right, Stacy and Wade. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good.
Fine, cool. Thank you for being here to talk about
Sure.
it. Since Dan didn't even show it.
I know, rude.
It's so rude. And Reagan is here with a friend, so let's bring in Reagan.
To infinity and beyond.
All right. Oh, wait, I didn't bring her in. That's my fault. There she is. For one person to deal with here, Reagan and friend.
Yep. This is Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Hello, how's it going?
It's fantastic. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun little night. We usually have a couple of people in the comments who want to share their thoughts about the movies. Oh, we got an echo tonight.
Yeah.
We have to figure out who the echo is. Let me see. Is the echo? It is Reagan. Reagan is echoing with us.
Oh, got a microphone even.
Yes.
Set up there.
We're good. That's good. Okay, I think we're good. Maybe we're good. And so Dan will hopefully be with us before too long. But while we wait for Dan, if I can find the button, we'll say hello to Dave.
I'm sorry, Dave. This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
And now, there we go. We got a full house.
Do we just call this Era?
It's just the Era. It's the Era Film Festival.
Just an echo.
He'll be here eventually.
I'm sure he will.
Dan will show up eventually. We got the echo coming from. Now, are you guys in the Facebooks? It's a very thin Dan.
Thinner vision.
Hold on, I gotta fix that.
All right, there we go. Hey,
Yeah, I'm thin because when I did the Clutch show, I set the settings at 720 instead of 1080.
I thought your diet was working.
it's all right. You look fantastic.
Yeah, man. You never look better.
Oh my goodness, tonight is just such a magical night. Back from her worldwide travel.
Yay!
Denise! Wow.
I thought of showing up with a battery on my lap connected to cables, but that would have just been too much of a need.
I found this light that came in my FabFitFun box, and I was like, when am I ever going to use one of those lights that goes on your cell phone? So today was the day.
That is brilliant.
That's great.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, I'm so glad everybody could be here tonight. This is exciting.
Awesome.
Pretty full house, but we still do have some more room if you want to join in. We handle up to 10 people, so feel free to join in and talk about Iron Man. So for 2008, PG-13, heroes aren't born, they're built. Get ready for a different breed of heavy metal hero. Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard, Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow, all the way down to Clark Gregg, and Jon Favreau directing. This with a budget of $140 million and a worldwide gross of $585 million. Critics and audience seem to kind of like the movie, but we'll see. We'll see what everybody here seems to think about it.
Everyone but Terrence Howard seemed to really like the movie.
He couldn't get away fast enough, and I wonder how he feels about that now.
Well, I mean, he was, from what I remember hearing, he wasn't kicked. I mean, he didn't leave. He was. I don't remember if he was making salary demands or there was some wanting a larger role for his part.
He made more money than Robert Downey Jr. in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, but Downey probably got a bigger chunk of the gross.
He didn't actually. For the first one was because he was right off of snorting cocaine off a hooker's back, for excuse my French, but that's pretty much what he was doing, and he was in jail for. And this was his comeback movie.
Yeah,
they got him cheap.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a heck of a turnaround from 20 years earlier with Less Than Zero and some of the other movies he was in. Where Less Than Zero was probably documentary, actually.
He was actually higher than Zero when he did Less Than Zero.
Yeah.
He was on Ally McBeal, don't forget, right before he did this.
It's true.
Of course, that's part of the reason he was cast, was because they felt he could play that sort of flawed, high-living,
he definitely
coming to sort of, play it from both sides, if you will, both the sympathetic side and the playboy side.
Yes. I can't handle how long my face is.
Why the long face, Dan?
Seriously. Perk up. Everything's fine.
Like Celine Dion.
So I know this was Denise's first time for seeing Iron Man. Was this anybody else's first time?
Wow.
Really? Isn't that interesting? All right.
I can't believe that.
Reagan and Denise, what were your impressions of your first watch of Iron Man?
You go first, Denise.
Okay, so this was actually like my first voyage into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the first Marvel movie I have seen, at least now I can picture every time someone says Tony Stark, I won't confuse it with Tony Hawk, which has been the case for the past decade.
Well, that's a win.
Yeah, so I will say, the action part, I was like, man, like I had to take 3 breaks watching this movie, but I really liked Robert Downey Jr. I enjoyed him when he wasn't Iron Man. Like, I like the Tony Stark part much better. I like that he decided to stop making weapons and do something good. When I can get my hands on one of those suits and fly myself across the country, across the world, that'll be awesome. And I enjoyed like I liked his character quite a bit. He made great jokes. So there was some entertaining. I kind of felt that this was like a Pixar movie where there was something for everyone. So even though I had no idea what that light up thing was, I missed that part of it. Like, didn't really know what was going on much of the time. I still enjoyed his funny jokes.
Well, there you go, Reagan.
I thought it was really good. I think that my sister's really into Marvel, and so I think that I've seen it like whenever she watches it on like in our room or something like that. So I knew about it obviously because I watch other Marvel movies too, but it was like surprising how much like I remembered, but like didn't actually remember. But
I like the shaking of the head beside you.
It just hurts when I hear people be like, I watch other Marvel movies. No, there's an order. There's a way you have to watch these movies.
Amen. Amen.
But I really liked that that there was so much to do with Shang-Chi in it because I had just watched that. And so I thought that it was interesting that at first we actually had no idea. Like if I had watched it with everybody originally, you have no clue. And so I really liked having that and understanding what was going on because it made me enjoy it more than I would have if I didn't. And I always really liked Tony Stark because like whenever I watch Marvel movies, I watch them because I like the heroes. Like I like Spider-Man, I like Thor. I've always been a fan of Tony just because, he's the playboy type, but he also, as Pepper Potts says, has a heart and you could see that. And I really liked him for that always. I don't know. It was actually really good. And I don't know why I never saw it.
It's the movie that launched an entire franchise. It really is. If this movie had made money, but had just done okay, the entire MCU would be very different than it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and
Iron Man.
Oh, good, please.
Iron Man was not a major character. People think that he was. If you're big into Marvel, he was
sort of. He wasn't quite B list, but he was maybe B+ list.
Right.
Yeah.
He definitely was not an A character.
That they were like, oh yeah, we got to do Iron Man. It was like oh yeah, we could do an Iron Man movie. But Marvel has done a very good job at making themselves retrospectively look very clever, going back and mining these older movies for content, and then making newer movies and be like, oh yeah, that was like the plan all along with the and the stuff and the I Am Iron Man and all that stuff. They do a really great job at sort of pulling back and going through these movies and finding ways to make them look clever in later movies.
They did something that's very hard to do in this movie, though, which is as Denise and Reagan have pointed out, seeing it for the first time and probably not having been hardcore comic book people in their youth, realize it can both appeal to people coming to these characters for the first time, and if you read Marvel, voraciously like I did in middle school and high school, and had boxes and boxes of Avengers comics, and you still liked it because it was the right character. There were things they changed. Mm-hmm. Him saying he was Iron Man happened much later in his timeline than it did in the movie.
Okay.
The whole joke about the backstory, pretending he's your bodyguard, I don't think that's very convincing. That's the way he was for about 30 years in the comics, or 25 years. But they didn't just dismiss it. They changed it a bit, but still made it appealing to people like me who had grown up on this stuff. And that's hard to do.
I mean, there's an amazing amount of wonderful lines in this movie. It is a very funny movie. Yeah, there's just so many wonderfully iconic moments for me in this movie. I mean, this is probably my 80th time. I don't know. I've seen this movie a lot, more than most people should watch a movie over and over again. But it never gets old to me. It never,
Some of the more MCU movies really have to be viewed in the context of the whole MCU. There are certain ones, this is one, Guardians of the Galaxy is one, that stand on their own. You could just go in and watch them and they're just excellent movies, fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. And I think the casting in this movie is pretty flawless all the way through. I think Paul Bettany as Jarvis is amazing. I think Clark Gregg as Agent Coulson is amazing.
I love him.
Oh, and Clark Gregg coming off of the New Adventures of old Christine.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges, because that's not the best villain in the world, let's face it, compared to some other Marvel villains. But Bridges brings some real gravitas to it. It really makes it fun.
Pretty good.
Gravitas.
Well, and what I like about this movie, and one of the reasons I do think coming back to this movie is always great. This was not a universe-ending villain
Yes.
in so many of the newer Marvel movies, where we're fighting a power that is going to destroy the world as we know it.
How is a guy who's good at bow and arrows going to defeat Thanos?
He's going to be spunky. He'll be fine. Spunk.
I love how you mentioned
the problem with a lot of comics is the balance. It really was, which was why another reason, just to touch on Marvel again for a second, one of the reasons the first season of Daredevil on Netflix was so awesome, because Kingpin and Daredevil were wonderfully matched.
Yeah.
And the first season of Jessica Jones, Kilgrave and Jessica Jones were just very different, but just they really were. You didn't know how, if you didn't know it was a first series, first season of something, you didn't know how it could come out. It really was well matched. I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, so we've got some comments from Adam here. He says that definitely a top 5 Marvel movie, the best of the Marvel origin story movies. He says, it makes me mad that Iron Man 2 and 3 were so disappointing, as good as Iron Man 1 was.
3 had some very good moments, but
it was a little odd to see Jeff Bridges as a villain, but he did a good job.
Also, don't forget, Elon Musk was in the second one.
Yes, he was. Yeah, 2 and 3 definitely have moments still that are unforgettable. But I agree, they don't match up.
Well, Ben Kingsley is great in 3.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Cody, what were you going to say?
No, I just love how you mentioned like the iconic lines and everything, and I just remember like when we were watching it the other day, I was like, so many of these moments that happened were just such little moments that I was younger than most of you when this came out, and I was like, even the moments when he had like interaction with his robots.
Oh,
they just killed me when he's like and like and it just gets sad and goes down and like
when it hands to the old arc reactor.
Yeah, this was like the moment that I think we saw, which is crazy that it was like one of the first movies we saw the Marvel kind of humor come into play, and they've rolled with it ever since.
Yeah,
and I think Jon Favreau has a lot to do with that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He was skinny in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's a little guy.
He lost 70 pounds.
Dang.
I think that's what I read. He lost 70 pounds for this movie.
Yeah, he really but I love the fact that he's in this movie. It's one of my favorite, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This part here with the testing out of
10%.
the suits, or just 10% to see if you can get some see if we can get some lift. And it's just this kind of humor that, really sets off that tone.
And it blows a little.
And then, the fire extinguisher at the end is what makes it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
So who was there from the beginning that's still involved in the MCU? Because you obviously have Paul Bettany.
Right, Paul Bettany as
he was there in the Iron Man, and he's still around.
Absolutely,
because Downey is retired now from the MCU.
Correct. I believe
Pepper Potts done.
She is done.
I would think.
I think whether she is gonna whether they're gonna.
She's in the candle business now.
Oh.
Yeah, then nobody has a paltrow.
Yeah. Speaking of candle business,
oh,
you brought this up.
Tell us about it.
So I have successfully burned down Scarlett Johansson. Here, this is let me see if we can get that to focus. Probably not. There we go. This candle smells like Scarlett Johansson. So we got the jewelry out. So it's this priceless heirloom. And this is going to be really hard to get to come into focus. Let me see if I can cover my face. There it is.
Wow.
Look at that beautiful heart-shaped.
That's top quality cubic zirconia there.
Yeah. So we're going to try to cut last.
Like that.
Is it CZ?
I have there's no information. It was just the ring, size 8.
That's a good size.
Doesn't come up with it. It fits Jennifer perfectly, so we're all good. So it was a win.
You know how big Scarlett Johansson's fingers are.
Exactly. It smells like Scarlett Johansson's fingers.
Oh my.
Yeah, why? But yeah. So there's the candle business update.
Adam says the roadie character is.
We watched some deleted scenes, and Paul Bettany was not the voice of Jarvis in the deleted scene.
Oh, interesting.
Which is really jarring to hear somebody else voicing Jarvis.
Really Jarvising? Jarring.
Okay. That was good.
So we do see.
Good job, Jar Jar.
We saw Jensen. We see Jensen in a further in a
villain role
in Iron Man 3. Right. We see him. We see the flashback where they meet in Iron Man. Is that Iron Man? That's in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
So
you even had the one.
That's right.
The scientist who was recently in Spider-Man. I think we're going to see him again.
Yeah, we do get that. We got to see him again.
And really,
the actor's playing Tony Stark's dad.
Jensen was the character that sort of was the moral ground on which that character was built. I mean, just that 3 months with him is clearly what isn't just the near death. I don't think it's being around this man is sort of the impression you get is that's a large part of what changed him.
What was his name?
Jensen.
Jensen.
Jensen. Yinsen.
Sounds like a Pittsburghese kind of name. Jensen.
A little bit.
Jens. Denise doesn't get that.
But yeah, and in theory, Agent Coulson may still be alive, depending on how you determine what alive means. But yeah, you don't get a lot of characters back, not currently now.
That is true.
I mean, Jon Favreau's character's still alive, isn't he?
Who?
Happy? I think
he was at the funeral.
Yes,
Yeah.
Happy is.
He's
might
totally
show up
dead in the new
somewhere.
Spider-Man. I'm gonna cry a little bit, but he's dead.
He is dead?
They're gonna. There's no way they don't kill him in Spider-Man.
Oh,
You think?
I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know.
Peter cannot have a father figure in his life. He's not allowed. They're gonna keep doing this to him over and over again.
First Uncle Ben,
though.
Yep.
Tony Stark.
It's gonna be the second saddest death in my books, second to only, Tony himself.
Well, that's how they're gonna defeat the next major villain. Is Spider-Man will befriend him and
Spider-Man and friends.
So whoever he defriends, he's going to defriend. And by the way, I couldn't do 5 freaky facts. I put together 10 because I figured like 4 or 5 would come up during the conversation, so I'd have to not use them.
Are you ready to?
And I don't think any of them have yet.
You ready to do a crazy amount of freaky facts?
We could do those quickly if you want.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, so freaky.
Oh, so freaky. All right. So the very first one is very early on in the IMDb trivia, if you read any of those, but the script wasn't even finished when they started filming.
Wow.
So they ad-libbed a ton of it. Jon Favreau acknowledged that it made the film feel more natural, which I can't see how it wouldn't. Robert Downey Jr. asked for many takes of a scene, and he would just do it differently every time. And Gwyneth Paltrow would be like, I don't know how to respond. I need lines. This is not how I work. And Jeff Bridges was the same way. He's used to tons of rehearsals, and he's very prepared. He knows it word for word. But then once he realized it was a $200 million student film, is what he called it, it took the pressure off him, and he had fun. He's like, it doesn't really matter. As a tribute to Howard Hughes, who inspired Iron Man, production was mainly based in the former Hughes Company sound stages in Playa Vista, where the scene where the Iron Man Mark III armor was created, was filmed in the same area where Hughes assembled the H-4 Hercules airplane, better known as the Spruce Goose. And I saw the Howard Hughes movie at the Howard Hughes shopping center mall, whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah?
At the theater there. So that was kind of interesting to be actually on the ground. Can I use I think I can use the word literally here. Literally on the ground, that was Howard Hughes's that the movie was based on. Jon Favreau voiced Iron Man on an episode of Robot Chicken, season 4, episode 8 in 2005.
Of course he did.
Wow.
That was 3 years before this movie. Here's an interesting freaky fact. The actor who asks Tony what happened in Afghanistan was Billie Eilish's father.
No.
Yeah, he's an actor.
Really?
Seriously?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's
Billie
how
Eilish's
she got
father.
famous. That's why she's famous.
Yes,
That
just
makes
because of
sense.
this. I did mention earlier that Robert Downey Jr. was only paid $500,000 for this film. He was paid a lot more for the rest.
Yeah.
One scene, Tony Stark attends an event at the Walt Disney Concert Hall in downtown Los Angeles. And just a year later, Disney bought Marvel. A little foreshadowing,
Iron Man,
maybe.
I'm sure the price tag was a lot higher.
Yes. At several points in the movie, Jeff Bridges' character, Obadiah Stane, is seen wearing a ball and chain style necklace with a round black gem that signifies the 10 Rings terrorist organization. A little foreshadowing to the current movie. At the same time, Jeff Bridges, along with his father and brother Lloyd and Bo, along with his brother, they're all former members of the U.S. Coast Guard. And the ball and chain style is normal for holding dog tags, their military ID. So he might have just been wearing his old military ID. Stan Lee, of course, does his little cameo.
It's Hugh Hefner.
As Hugh Hefner, accompanied by 3 blonde women. Lee later said it was his most fun cameo. And he got to keep the smoking jacket, probably. To avoid spoilers about the final press conference, all the extras were told it was a dream sequence. And this didn't really happen. Not sure what that noise is. Anybody else hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. It's not me. And finally, Paul Bettany recorded all of his Jarvis lines in 2 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything done in 2 hours.
Okay. Can you guys remind me what Jarvis is? Or who Jarvis is?
Jarvis is his.
I remember Tony Stark and
He's the voice. He's the voice in the suit. He also is the guy who runs the house.
He's the AI.
Jarvis.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
He's Alexa, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that was Jeff Bridges' character, but I'm like, why is it a different voice? I forgot the name. Obadiah, Jarvis. It's all the same to me.
It's all the same.
Jarvis actually stands for just a rather very intelligent system.
Oh,
well, there you go.
Edwin Jarvis, Howard Stark's butler.
Yes.
You know who they can still bring back would be Christine Everhart.
Ooh.
She does appear in Iron Man 2. So she actually is a recurring character, which I thought was funny that they brought her back in Iron Man 2 because it's not like she plays a major role again. She's just there to establish that this is the same the same circle, the same universe.
I enjoyed those facts because you actually answered a few questions for me. I was wondering, I'm like, that's not Hugh Hefner. Like, and then at the end, I did know enough to know, like, oh, I saw the name Stan Lee. And I was like, wait, I wonder what he was. So thank you, because I don't know who Stan Lee. I don't know what he looks like. So I'm glad you answered that. But I am dying to know if Fun V was like a written line or if he ad-libbed that, because that was my favorite line.
The humdrum V is back.
That could have gone either way, actually. Who knows?
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I think you already mentioned that the I am Iron Man line at the end was not in the script, and it was something that Robert Downey Jr. ad-libbed, and then they decide, you know what, let's not do this whole, we're going to have a secret identity. We're just going to let him be Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Spider-Man is the only person who has a secret identity.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But Thor had a secret identity, I guess, in the comic books. And they never used it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Doug Nelson or whatever his name was.
Donald Blake. Was he Donald
Well,
Blake?
he would only turn into Thor when he had the hammer. When he was away from the hammer, he was a scrawny little guy. Yep.
Adam doesn't want to spoil this, but I think, I guess everybody hasn't seen Endgame yet, so.
But yes, that is also very true.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's all it's all connected. It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite, not to bring up another movie, my favorite Jarvis meme, or it's actually a Paul Bettany meme, is whenever they say this is how you all met Paul Bettany, and it says Jarvis or Vision, either one, whatever. And the other one is this is how I met him, and it's the butt scene from A Knight's Tale.
Oh.
Wow.
Don't know
It's my favorite thing in the world.
That's awesome. That's so
I don't know what that is.
That's so weird.
You've never
you
seen
can Google it. It's perfectly safe to Google. Sure.
Sure.
No.
Possibly go wrong.
All right. I don't need to know.
Paul Bettany's a wonderful actor. That's all you need to know.
Oh, okay.
That's
He's really good in interviews, too. He really comes across well. Yeah.
We watched WandaVision this week. We binged it because Kent was into it. So he and I watched it in 2 nights. And so that helped a lot with know more about Jarvis. I didn't realize he was him. And gee.
There's one of them.
Yeah.
That's especially funny because it's a Robert Downey Jr. line.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's from Tropic Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was disappointed in Vision or Jarvis that it wasn't the same Jarvis from Agent Carter because I really like him. Thought he'd be the same, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I think I just found the other one.
Yeah, I sort of agree with Adam. I think it is the best of the origin movies. I think, to me at least, and maybe this is, to me, Doctor Strange comes close, but it's still, yeah.
I just rewatched Doctor Strange, and it's pretty good.
It is. Well, it's another one where you have sort of the egotistical, full of himself guy who's sort of brought down to earth, and there's some similarities to it that way.
And if you're watching the What If series, there is one of the episodes of What If on Disney Plus is what if Iron Man never was captured? If Tony Stark wasn't captured by the 10 Rings and never became Iron Man. And it's a very bizarre. The whole What If series is very bizarre, but it basically just undoes this entire movie.
It's the multiverse.
It is the multiverse.
It's fan fiction in a cartoon.
100%.
It really was.
All right. Are we ready to throw a number at this thing? I think we probably are at this point. Let's time to rate the reel.
The EriDan rating bot 6,000. EriDan rating 6,000. EriDan now activated.
All right, so we are going to be looking at numbers from 1 to 100 of your rating for Iron Man.
Ooh.
Who's doing that?
Somebody's rated the subway.
No, it's not them.
No, I think it is them.
Might be.
All right, there we go.
Oh, went away.
Better. Okay. So Dan, go around the room.
All right. Who picked this movie? Oh, you did.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that this was one of my movies that I put on the reel? Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. It's 100 for me. This movie is everything. This movie started off 23 movies in a row, hardly any of which I have major issues with. But this one to me kicks it all off. It gives you so much great stuff, so much great content. Yeah, I agree. The action sequences are a little long, at times, but there's nothing I would change about this movie. I could watch it again right now. In fact, I think I will. So while you guys rate, I'm going to go watch it again. But to me, the performances are excellent. The casting's amazing. And again, as Dave said, if this movie hadn't been this great, we wouldn't have the universe of movies that we have now. So, and so I've given 2 other movies a 100. That's being Spinal Tap and When Harry Met Sally. And this is my 3rd movie that I would rank that high as being practically perfect in every way. So, yeah, I'm starting off really high. So it's all downhill from here.
I'll go next. Wow. This is, I can't rank it. This is no Somewhere in Time. Please.
Thank
Hallelujah.
That is the other way around. What did I rank that one?
120.
Rank is the right word.
Oh, you people.
Time, Dan, you gave Somewhere in Time a 94.
Oh, okay. This is actually going to get higher than that. Let me put on the right glasses for it. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. I agree with you, Eric. This movie is, from just a movie standpoint, a great movie. It's well written, well directed, well acted. Special effects are good, and it is the birthplace of everything in the MCU. So while I don't believe any movie's 100, I am going to give this a 98.
Oh, okay.
And these glasses, because if these were prescription, I'd wear them the whole time. Stacy and Wade.
Oh, it's our turn.
You go first.
No, you go.
Okay. One of the things I did like about it is kind of like last week with the Star Trek, the beginning of it, how it's like this, you're watching a movie about Iron Man, all of a sudden the guy gets killed at the very beginning there, kind of froze you.
And there's jets. There's jets in this movie, Wade. Come on, there's jets.
Yeah, and there was a lot of jets and stuff like that too. So, yeah, so I guess that boosted up by like 5 points. I'll have to give it a 95.
Right.
Oh, jeez. I enjoyed it. I had forgotten a lot of it I said, man, I must watch the other Iron Man movies more when they're on whatever they're on. I've seen them a couple of times, I feel like. And this one, I didn't remember the beginning so much. Once I watched it, I'm like, oh, yeah. But I just love Pepper. The scene where she's downloading when Jeff Bridges' character walks in, Obadiah walks in, and she's like, I think of that scene all the time when I stick my little USB in my computer at work. I always have. I know I'm a dork, but I just think of her all the time. I just think that's
hurry up.
Ooh, hurry up.
No, the download. Hurry up.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it's just like, and then she takes it and walks away, and then he finds out and he's pissed, and it's just, yeah. But I just like her. I like her relationship with Tony. I thought it was more I don't know, secret than it was. And it was very obvious that she likes him in the first one. I didn't think it was so obvious. I had forgotten that. So I'm going to give it a 93. It's a pretty good movie.
Nice.
All righty. And now we go to Reagan Ryder and Friend.
All right.
Caption.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was really cool. Because, I mean, like, I'm not, like, a crazy Marvel fan, but I do really enjoy the movies, and I really like watching them whenever I do get the chance. And I was surprised by how good this one was. And I feel like, even though I'm not, like, super in that fandom, I really feel the same way that you did, Eric, how it's like obvious that it's set up the whole MCU. Like maybe it wasn't the plan the whole time and things changed around or whatever, but like you can just kind of watching it now up until Endgame and after, like it's really cool. Like I have a lot more respect for the MCU after watching Iron Man in this way. I don't know. There was nothing really wrong with it. There's not like a big connection to me, but I did really like it, and I think I got like a 97 or something. You know, I'll just stick with the 97.
Nice.
I am on the other end of the spectrum. I am a big Marvel guy. I have seen every movie in theaters, some of them multiple days before they actually came out, due to having friends that work in movie theaters, and it has just been a joy to watch all this spark from something that people didn't even know if it was going to be anything. And I think the integration of end credit scenes that started in this movie was such a game changer in the film industry, and especially with like action movies, superhero movies. Now you're seeing it in DC. The movie as a whole, if I were to rate it individually, would probably have a slightly lower score, like 98, 99. But because of everything, I have to give it 100.
Wowza.
And we got another 100. Jacob Angel in the comments gave it 100 as well.
Jake's Pickup here on Bainbridge Island, home of the Sconut. It's not a donut. It's not a scone. It's a Sconut.
Wow.
Which is better than a done.
And it's
Might have to go
delicious.
get one of those.
They are really good. I might have to ship them to all you guys.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That might be the EriDan Christmas prize.
That's a great idea.
All right. I guess I'm up. The there were some tropes in this. I mean, there were two places. It wasn't just the download. There was also the upload to the suit, where you have the progress bar. You know, what would action movies be without countdown timers and progress bars?
Exactly.
But they weren't overdone. It was still pretty good. Then that didn't really hurt it in any way. The one thing I want to mention is they had originally planned for the Mark I suit that he escapes from the cave to be almost entirely CGI. And the team that put that together, the actual suit, did such an amazing job with it that it was about 80% actual practical effects and not CGI. And I think it showed, because that suit looked so cobbled together and yet so cool at the same time that it was amazingly believable for that. I mean, it was just really I just thought the costuming and the SFX team did an amazing job with that. The action stopped just short of being too much. And that's one of the reasons I like this movie, is there's some of the later MCU movies that the fights really do go on too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where they seem to think that the whole point of the movie is to build up to the big action scene. And yes, they did that in this, but that didn't really feel like that was the point of the movie. That was just the culmination of resolving his conflict with Stain. But you didn't get to feel like when they defeated the villain, that's the end. Victory, hallelujah. There was more to it than that, and that's one of the reasons I felt that this movie was so successful. And then, has been mentioned multiple times, just its place in the foundation of the MCU. Clearly, they had planned the MCU, but the end credit scene calls to that. Obviously, they were building toward the Avengers movie. They were going to have your Iron Man movie, your Thor movie, your Captain America movie, your Hulk movie, and then do an Avengers movie. And this movie was so big and so successful, both commercially and critically, that they expanded it almost immediately. Iron Man 2 came out. There wasn't even going to be an Iron Man 2. So it is better than almost every other movie in the MCU. on its own and as the fulcrum for what came after it. There are some others, as I mentioned, Doctor Strange, I feel stands on its own. In a bit of a different feel, Ant-Man sort of stands on its own as a standalone movie as well as part of the MCU. And Guardians certainly does. But a lot of them really have to have what came before them to be a successful movie. And this one had nothing before it. So I give them a lot of credit for that too. So I'm going 95.
Nice.
All right. And now we go to Denise.
Just be honest. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I will say it gets a few extra points because I know Eric is so passionate about this movie and loves it so much and has on multiple occasions very patiently explained Marvel things to me that I didn't understand. Clearly, I still don't understand all of them. And I tried really hard to watch the movie. I will say it's better than I expected it to be. I really liked Robert Downey Jr. I really liked Tony Stark. So if they could just make Tony Stark movies, I totally watch Tony Stark 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if I'm really into the Iron Man 2, 3, and 4, or however many there are. But it was funny. I thought all the actors were great. I like Jeff Bridges in his role as well. So I give it an 84.
84. Nice. We have not heard from Adam with a number yet. Adam is holding out.
We know he likes it.
We assume he did.
Well, he said it was the best of the origin movies.
Well, it's true, but maybe he just hates them all. No, okay. He gives it a 90 from Adam.
Whoa. Very solid from Adam. Yeah.
There you go. Excellent. Very nice. All right, I'm going to do some. Let me do some number crunching here.
Anybody else watching? You can put your comment in, your number in the comments, if you want to add one.
Just to hark back to what Denise said. To be honest, well, good writing, good casting, good direction, the humor's great, all that. Robert Downey Jr. Almost, Herculean makes this movie. There are very few times when you look at a movie and say nobody else could have done that.
Right.
And this is one of those cases. It's not many.
Oh, he had me sing one with his cocktail in the Hummer. I was like, okay, maybe this movie won't be so bad.
Some of those lines are like the no gang signs. I bet that was improvised. That had to have been improvised. There's just so many great lines.
I love the toss off line about how that there's the big drink cart there where he gets that drink, and he's like, for every order of 500 million or more, I'll throw in one of these. And it's so quick and it's just so brilliant. That whole scene when he's demonstrating the Jericho is just it's just gold. It's just total gold.
Well, it just goes, it sets the background for how, having been raised by Howard Stark and having Obadiah Stane as sort of his mentor after his dad passed away, he just went into this role of massive arms dealer almost without thinking about it. This is what I do. This is the family legacy. It makes me tons of money. Great. It's what the family name is all about.
It's true.
Yeah.
I was searching everywhere. I was in Starbucks in early 2008, late 2007, right by my house in Santa Monica. And I had my old Samsung flip phone that had a camera on the back because Robert Downey Jr. was getting coffee. He was right behind me in line. And so I did the old thing where I'm acting on the phone and I'm trying to, and I got it really, I tried to take a picture and I just looked at my MySpace page and it's not, I know I uploaded it somewhere. I didn't have Facebook yet. So I have no idea where this picture is.
Maybe it's in Second Life.
It might be.
It might be. You never know. Does that deserve? I think that probably does deserve. This name drop is sponsored in part by Aglets. Oh yeah, baby. You know what I'm talking about. All right, there's the weirdness. Okay.
No aglets on the Iron Man suit, though.
No aglets on that suit at all. All right, we'll start at the bottom. Experiment in Terror gets bumped to the second page. It's hard to believe already so many of the lower movies because Iron Man coming in at number 12.
Wow.
Pumping all other movies aside besides
just barely ahead of Back to the Future.
Yeah. I honestly, I thought for sure it'd be number one because Forrest Gump did not have that many hundreds, but it also did not have any
I think Forrest Gump may
80s.
have been all 90s and up.
Yeah,
We had more people
Sorry,
like
Eric.
No,
Without me, it probably would have been. But you know I love Forrest Gump.
I'm very comfortable with the number 2. With Iron Man.
You look at those top 10, and you can't complain.
No. I mean, that's the thing. You might
maybe Austin Powers.
You might shift some orders around. I wouldn't have Star Trek in the top 10 either, but but I think for the most part, I mean, you've got a solid evening of entertainment right there. In the top.
That's a long evening.
True.
No, I think we've done well, and we will continue to do well as we talk about what we're going to watch next week. It is that time to visit the Wheel of Reels, where we will discuss what possible movie we will be enjoying next week. Boy, Why So Serious has been coming up a lot, but let's see.
Sure has.
I say we nix it this week.
Yeah, it's come up multiple in a row. It's
all right. You want to do that? All right,
I'm good with that.
There we go.
Comedy or viewer's choice.
Let's find out what.
And if we give viewer's choice, it better be a comedy.
Oh, there it is. Viewer's choice. All right. No, it doesn't have to be a comedy. It could be anything for viewers.
I was joking. It was comedy. I was trying.
That was a joke. I get you. Okay.
Next time I'll warn you ahead of time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. So
just like your stand-up act. Here's a joke.
Warn everybody.
So all right. So we are going to take a look at who has had a chance. I'm going to get rid of some people who I don't believe are here. If you
Mom, are you watching? My mom might be. I just picked her up at the airport.
She might be. And now, is anybody who's with us right now not interested in choosing next week's movie? Anybody want to opt out, or am I putting everybody in here?
No, you can opt me out.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Cody, are you in for choosing our movie for next week? Oh, somebody muted Cody.
Will you be able to make it next week is the real question.
Oh, I'll make it.
Oh, cool.
We got a commitment.
I literally go from recording a podcast to this, so I'm fine with it.
Oh, nice. What's your podcast?
Give your podcast a plug.
Yeah, so I'm also a huge Steelers fan, so I do Steelers by the Lake is my podcast.
Love the
my
Steelers.
Condolences. Rough week. Rough week.
Very rough week.
Well, here's how rough it is for me. I lived in New Orleans for a while, and I live in Seattle now. So I have my 3S teams: the Steelers, the Seahawks, and the Saints. Last week, 3-0. This week, 0-3.
Well, the Steelers losing hurt.
Yeah.
Watt getting injured was a gut punch.
Yeah, but he'll be back.
Well, Watt getting injured, also Tyson Alualu getting a broken leg.
And the Spitter getting kicked out of the game.
Yeah, it's bad.
They didn't do a Magic Loogie reference. They had to. I'm like, where's the Magic Loogie reference? Blame Keith Hernandez for spitting.
Seinfeld pulls into everything, right?
Back and to the left.
I'm so good.
Back and to the left.
I don't know. Terrible towel? Does that fit into this conversation, Eric? I have no idea.
You have a terrible towel?
My dad does.
Yeah.
My dad was buried with his terrible towel.
Aww.
I don't really understand the significance of it. I just know the word.
Myron Cope. That was a beautiful 52-yard run by Tom Worley.
The other thing you have to know is that all of the proceeds from the terrible towel goes to an excellent charity. So
yes.
Oh, I like that.
Well, there you go. That is good news. All right, let's take a spin. So whoever the wheel lands on gets to choose the movie, any movie, unless it's something that we've already watched. And otherwise,
over a year in, we could probably rewatch a movie, but no.
Probably, I don't know.
There's
You
so
take
many
the money and
ones
run
out there.
better.
We'll not do a new one.
Yeah, let's pick a new one. So here we go. Let's do it. And it's gonna be Adam. Adam in the comment section gets to choose our movie for next week. Adam has brought us some amazing selections of movies.
Adam, you never know what you're going to get from Adam.
No, you really don't.
Adam is 60-40.
I believe he brought us Shawshank, wasn't he?
Yes.
He brought a Star Trek, didn't he?
Yes.
No,
actually, no,
that was somebody else.
Adam brought us Strange Brew.
He brought us Super Troopers too, as I recall.
By the way, Star Trek was Wade.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
He did bring us Super Troopers.
He did definitely brought us Super Troopers.
So Adam, it's your choice.
So yeah,
take your time. Think it through.
You take your time. I'm gonna introduce a new segment while we wait for Adam, which has nothing to do with entertainment except for the fact. Now, I've been going through the EriDan archives.
Extreme close.
So Eric and I are twins tonight.
We are little twinsies. Well,
It's hard to tell us apart.
read for Iron Man. All right, so I found this in the archives, Dan.
Holy crap!
Comedy cavalry.
Look at me. I'm hugging up to the cop. That's Brian Matthews. He was known by then. Now he goes by his real name, Matt Wolforth.
Doing your best Bob Saget impression.
I had hair and I had a jacket from Wilson's leather.
The Cavaricis?
Those are. I can see the white tag. Z Cavaricis and a jacket from Wilson's leather, Beaver Valley Mall, which I put on layaway. And after I got another gig, I paid for it.
I actually did not know I had this. And on the flip side is this masterpiece.
Oh my God. The old resume.
It's a resume, which I find really amusing because you've listed all the places that you've clubs and colleges I've performed at. And Geneva College is on the list.
Well, yes. We won a talent show. It came in second.
I don't think that counts.
Did we perform there?
Maybe.
That's all that matters. I performed.
More importantly, is Dan Rosenberg is one of the top up-and-coming comedians in the Pittsburgh area. His style of clean, everyday humor, mixed with his very likable stage presence, is well received by each audience. He has radio experience as a regular guest on WGEV-FM's Night Jams and television's experience as the host of Video Signals Music News on WGEV-TV.
That's a CV, boy.
All references to my college radio station.
Where you now work.
That is true. Well, not at the radio.
And I believe you wrote that, if I'm not mistaken.
I might have. I had no memory of that. All right, Adam apparently is scrubbing through Netflix.
You're Dan's Colonel Parker.
Oh, he literally, my first gig, Eric called as my fake manager to Jerry Pace to get me a gig at the Warrendale Sheridan, which Eric ended up DJing at later in life.
I did. And
he got me a gig there, and it was my very first paid gig. And it was also on the first night I wasn't coaching basketball on a Friday night in 8 years.
Wow.
And the principal from the Catholic school I used to coach at showed up and didn't even know I was there that night. So I suddenly became Catholic that night.
Well, I'm very excited to announce Adam's movie.
Oh.
Because it's a movie I've not seen. Are you ready? Here it is. It's a drama.
Oh, I never watched that one.
You can never go wrong with Tom Hanks for one.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Tom Hanks. So
I have some
I'm
Tom
watching it.
Crush.
Denise is so excited.
Oh, Tom Hanks, the world's most
Scott
perfect
Glenn.
human.
No, it's got some great performances.
We got Kevin Bacon. Is this our first Kevin Bacon?
Clint Howard?
It can't be.
It might be our first Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's, right? No?
Every movie's connected to Kevin Bacon, but I don't know if we've actually had a movie with Kevin Bacon in it.
That's true. Well, that's an excellent choice, Adam. Thank you.
Good job, Adam.
Bringing us the awesome. So now is the part of the show where we talk about what else you've been watching. All right. I know. I sometimes you push the button and it takes like a 2 or 3 second delay, and sometimes it's instantaneous. So I experiment with my timing, my delivery. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not so much. What else have people been watching this week?
I do want to call back to last Monday because the coincidental timing is both odd. Because I mentioned how I'd gone down the rabbit hole of watching a bunch of Norm Macdonald videos last Monday, and Tuesday he passed away.
That was so creepy.
That was, and so
that's
I
not the first time that's happened. That's not the first time it's happened on the show where we've talked about somebody and they died before the next show, or we pick a movie and it's available when we pick it, and the next day it's no longer available.
Right.
So we've had weird. This is a weird group.
I went back. I watched a ton of him on Conan, which is just brilliant. His appearances on Conan are just
The Moth.
Hold Your Gut. Amazing stuff. And I also watched, he was the last stand-up on Letterman before he went off the air.
Oh, wow.
And it's a brilliant performance. And just Norm, the thing with Norm is he was such a, even people like Bob Saget, who were his good friend, said he was a really hard person to get to know. And you never really saw him in his act in many ways. And I can only remember a couple of times when he had real emotion that just broke through and he couldn't contain it. And one was the Comedy Central roast of Bob Saget, because he was asked to roast him and he felt like he couldn't be mean to his friend. So he took an old joke book and just had these cards written up of old jokes. And he read the oldest, most corny jokes in the world. Like, Bob's got a face like a flower. A cauliflower, just jokes like that. And this is in the middle of a Comedy Central roast where people just rip holes in each other. And you watch the video of it, and the comedians are falling out of their chairs, and the audience is utterly confused because the comedians get what he's doing, and the audience takes them at least 2/3 of the way through before they start to catch on. And then the other one is Letterman's last performance, when he got there early that day, because he wanted to soak in as much of that day as he could. His last performance on Letterman. He got there hours before anyone else did. He was in his room writing all day and rewriting and refining his act. And he finally, because he then appeared on Howard Stern later, and Stern was asking him about it, because his final lines, the way he approached Dave, even Dave didn't know how to take it. And he said, I didn't write that. He goes, I wrote some lines that just didn't feel genuine. And I just, from the spur of the moment, threw them out and said what I said. And I highly recommend you seek it out. His last appearance on Letterman. It's both a killer stand-up act for a few minutes and then just one of the most poignant send-offs you'll ever see.
I think I mentioned this before, and this is probably a big name drop, but you don't have to play one. I was at the Bob Saget roast, and I was sitting at I got stuck at the Full House table. I was actually the odd guy that nobody.
Oh my God!
People were like, "Who's that guy?"
Uncle Jesse. Please tell me you did.
Well, Uncle Jesse was he was the roast master.
Wasn't he?
He was the roast master, and Bob Saget was there. Dave Coulier was at the table, if I remember correctly. I thought that was weird. Like, why is he not up there? Because he's a comedian. And Lori Loughlin was there, and Jodie Sweetin. The Olsen twins were not there, and the other sister who I'm forgetting, and Kimmy Schmidt.
Gibbler.
Kimmy Gibbler was at the table, and there's a shot I think in it where the camera like pans the whole table and it just stops right before me because like, that was this guy. A friend of mine worked for the Hollywood Reporter, and his girlfriend hated comedy.
They hadn't heard you'd been on WGEV.
That's what it was. I'd been on WGEV, but there's a video of him doing the entire. He did about 8.5 minutes. And literally every comic in the house is laughing, and every non-comic is like, "This guy's bombing." And it was so funny because he used to like purposely bombing, because he said when people expect one thing, you do the opposite.
Yeah, he had a little bit of Andy Kaufman in him.
Yeah, and there are a couple other lines where he just gives zingers back to people that are hysterical.
Well,
and
when Jim Norton came up later, Norton goes, "How did he put it?" He goes, that was great. That was like watching." Who was it he did it with? Oh, Henry Fonda pick blueberries. That's how entertaining that so was. And Norm, they panned to Norm, and Norm's like, but I don't think there's a person in this room that wouldn't enjoy watching Henry Fonda pick blueberries. Just loses it.
Wow.
Yeah, he did that on Conan. When he was Courtney Thorne Smith was going to be in a movie with Carrot Top, and she's just ripping on it, and he keeps ripping, and he's like, "They don't have it." Title of the movie is box office, not gold. I forget what it was, but then she's like, "It's called Chairman of the Board." He goes, "Yeah, it's spelled BORED."
Well, it was better than that. Conan goes, "Yeah, try to rip on that one, Norm." And Norm goes, "Yeah."
So yeah, that was. Let's not talk about anybody ever again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Poor Kevin Bacon. We already brought him up.
Oh no.
Guys, take out Tom Hanks. We're gonna have to talk.
Yeah.
He was going to go Apollo 13 or Police Academy. Is that?
Well, Police Academy is on the comedy wheel about 10 times, so it'll come up.
It'll eventually come up. Apollo 13 was not on any wheel.
Yeah.
So it's a good original.
So yeah, so Dave's been watching a lot. I've been watching a ton a ton of the Norm stuff too all week.
The moth joke.
Oh,
love the moth joke.
That the moth joke is almost like the Aristocrats.
Yeah,
because
the
you
moth
can tell
joke is just, yeah.
You just take that punchline and reverse engineer. You can tell any joke. You can make up any story you want.
And Conan has no idea where he's going.
No. I don't know if it's on YouTube anywhere, but he did a joke like that
It is.
on no, that's on YouTube. But there's a joke he did on Howard Stern that was like 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
And he gets to the end and it wasn't even funny. Like he just loved wasting 40 minutes of airtime telling the story.
Yeah,
and that was
there's
the
a
only
couple
reason he
times
did
Andy
it.
Richter after one of those would go, well, that was a long drive to nowhere.
Youthful Porpoise was one of his other ones.
Oh, yes.
I've watched a couple of cool things this week. I watched the LuLaRoe.
Lula Rich.
Lula Rich on Amazon.
I watched it last night.
Yeah,
I
I did
heard
too.
about that.
You know, multi-level marketing. Eric and I almost got duped into it. Well, we did get duped into it once when he was at
Which one?
Geneva.
That's true.
Amway.
Yeah.
It was network marketing. That's the oh, this is great. It's network marketing, not multi-level. And no, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's a triangle of success. It's a three-dimensional triangle. It's not a pyramid.
It's not a pyramid. It's a three-sided figure with a point on the top.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And here's how the payout works. It starts here, and then I recommend watching it. It was good. I also started watching Ghosts, BBC version of Ghost, which is coming out as a new show on CBS this year.
I didn't realize that was a remake of a BBC show.
The new one is the new one coming out it's The Office of Ghosts, basically. They did 3 seasons of BBC. It's basically
right?
young couple inherits a house and it's haunted by people that have lived there.
Never heard that one before.
Oh, I saw a trailer for that where she's like talking to the people and then she's like, "What do you need? What do you want with everything?" And he's like, I just wanted a hug. Like all those weird things. Yeah.
It's Beetlejuice.
It is kind of Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso obviously won huge last night.
I still haven't watched the season 2 at all yet.
Yeah, I'm all caught
Love
up
season
now.
1.
I posted on.
I forgot all about the Emmys being on last night. I was super bummed.
Yeah,
What?
I
They
know.
used to tape them and keep them.
I know. Trust me.
When Colbert won for his election coverage on Showtime, Conan O'Brien came up on stage with him.
That's awesome.
Just stood behind him like,
That's awesome. I didn't realize that Hamilton was a variety show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No,
Well,
variety
it's
or
a
musical.
Why So Serious? Why not a variety show?
SNL did very well. Now, what do you guys think of this? There are people complaining that it was all white people that won.
That's not
And
true.
I don't think about it.
all the major categories, actor, actress.
Writer was one, I believe, by one of the
I
writers.
don't know if they ever consider writer. The moratorium was sad too. The memoriam was sad because they put Norm Macdonald in, which is weird because usually they're like, oh no, he died in 21. These are all people that died in 20.
Right.
But now
they put in Ed Asner too.
They did put, now they're doing it. It seems like they're doing it in the last year because they used to always do that and people complain. And then by next year,
Right.
it's been like a year and a half since somebody died. You're like, wait, he died again? Like, I didn't realize Dawn Wells died. How did I miss that?
Oh yeah, she had COVID.
Dawn Wells died of COVID. She
Yes.
survived an island for all those years.
She was 83, I think.
Well, she had the professor around, back then.
Yeah.
So I guess Ginger's still alive, right? Is she the last one?
Yeah, Tina
Where's
Louise.
the Marianne?
Yeah. You knew that.
Oh no.
You knew it.
I didn't realize Marianne died. That's so weird.
That hurts.
So you've got Ginger's the only survivor of that. You've got Betty White's the only survivor of Golden Girls and
And
Mary
the rest
Tyler
is
Moore.
now dead.
Who?
And the rest.
Oh, and the rest.
And the rest, yes.
And the rest has died.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. Indeed.
What else is anybody else watching?
I watched a couple of things. So in addition to Lula Rich,
We've also been trapped like around the
was,
world.
all within a day. But I was not very productive yesterday. So I discovered that there's a new season of Modern Love on Amazon. So if you haven't seen that, I love that. I totally forgot about it. And Amazon was like, hey, continue watching. And I was like, oh, season 2. So if you're not familiar, Modern Love is like an anthology show. They base it on stories that have been written for the Modern Love segment in New York Times. So there's all these different stories and they're just lovely. I mean, some are sad. I'm not going to lie. I cried on the first episode, Minnie Driver, but it was awesome. Like they were just really great. Some are nice, some are sad, but it was a good couple hours. So definitely recommend that. I also was excited to find out that I had missed American Horror Story's new season. And so this one is double feature. So I think that the finale of the first half is this week. So lucky for me, I got to binge the first 5 and now I'm anxiously awaiting number 6. So it's a little gross, but it's worth watching if you're, I don't know if you guys are fans of American Horror Story, but I only skipped the last one because it was about summer camp. And I was just like, no, none of that. I avoided all those movies in the 80s for a reason. Also, Impeachment. I mean, Ryan Murphy is killing it. He can do no wrong. Everything he touches turns to gold. So I'm now watching Impeachment, which I'm finding to be really interesting, especially the fact that Monica Lewinsky is an executive producer on it. So that makes me hope that the dialogue is at least correct for both sides.
She actually insisted on some of the scenes that they hadn't originally planned to put in be in there because she felt it missed something without them. Even some that didn't necessarily paint her in the best light.
Yeah, I want the hot goss. Let's be honest. It's been 20 years or whatever, but I'm still interested. And I think one last thing that I have watched, I was really upset on my trip because I got a notice from the library that something I had on hold was ready. I was number 32 on the wait list. I've been waiting forever and I didn't think it would be there when I got back. But lo and behold, I got it on my last day of hold. So I finally got to watch Nomadland, which was really appropriate at the end of my trip, having met several people that were doing these van trips. And I know that there is a current news story, which is very sad, which is related to that. But I guess where I was relating to at the time I was watching it was, meeting folks. I did a llama trek and this couple was like, yeah, we just have been driving around in a van for a couple of years and we stopped and we learned how to trek with llamas. And then next month we're going to go, I don't know, explore New Mexico. And I just look at them and say, gosh, I wish I could be you, but I can't live in a van. So I don't know, it was really interesting movie. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend that as well. And that's all I've been doing for the last 48 hours.
That's really good.
Oh, jeez. 48 hours. That's what you've been doing. Wow.
Wanda and Pietro, what have you guys been watching?
See, Eric gets it.
Wow. I get it.
I love it. I love it.
Me too.
That's fantastic.
I haven't been watching a lot.
We watched Surf Finals.
We did watch Surf Finals. But I just started a new job. My work schedule has me normally if I wasn't doing this, I'd be passed out by now. I'm gonna be getting up at 4:30 in the morning, and but the last thing that I watched, movie or show wise, that I really enjoyed, I just watched season 1 of oh my gosh, Titans, the Teen Titans show on HBO Max.
Oh, what do you think of that?
It was a lot darker than I expected, but I thought it was very similar to how I feel about the Marvel stuff. We talked about, I can't remember who mentioned that they told the same story with the bodyguard and everything, but they didn't make it last as long. They told a very similar story, but they made it different. They made it their own. They didn't make it so you're just watching something that you already know what's going to happen.
Interesting.
Very dark, though. Very dark.
Might be a fun watch. That's pretty good. I have continued to watch Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Oh my gosh.
I have no pride. It's awesome. It's great fun. It's I think we're up to episode 6 or something like that.
That's it?
Yeah, well, I've kind of
a job.
Some people have a job. Exactly.
Well, now,
yeah, I know. I can't watch normally what I would have watched before, but But Ryan Reynolds, come on, he's so good.
He's always himself.
Yeah, they were hard for me to watch because of that. Because I was like, I literally just watched him do this in Free Guy. Like, I was irritated.
We did go see Free Guy in theaters. That's the first time I've been in a theater post-pandemic. We're not post-pandemic, but I mean since the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And what'd you think?
And highly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely want to go see that big time.
It was funny. I definitely, whenever I saw it a couple weeks ago, like I went with my friend before I came to school in August, but like I did not enjoy it as much because I expected Ready Player One, and it isn't like Ready Player One at all, and so that really threw me off. But
well, it's sort of like Ready Player One mashed up with the Lego Movie.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Exactly what it was, except more Lego Movie than Ready Player One.
Yeah, I've been
just Ryan Reynolds.
I'm trying to figure out if I want to go see Free Guy or if I want to go see Shang-Chi again.
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Yeah, see, I kind of feel like I really want to see that again.
Especially after just watching Iron Man, it'll be like an interesting.
Well, but Eric's always just watched Iron Man.
Yes,
very true.
Yeah, at any moment he can
regular rotation. Absolutely.
I will be interested to see if you have the same questions that I have about the 10 Rings specifically after seeing that movie.
Oh, I've seen it. I saw it once.
Oh,
I'm just debating about whether I want to go see it again or see.
No, he's got Morris in his
understandable. I want Morris so bad.
He's at Target. We'll go.
Oh yeah, Target, $5. They're super cute.
Is that what you define that as? Cute? Just fur?
I showed it last week, but I'm gonna get it. Hold on.
I see it behind you.
Oh, I didn't see it. Oh my gosh.
Eric's a collector.
A lot of work.
I'm getting there.
I am a collector. Look at that. Look out! Oh, he's so cute. Look how cute.
What is that?
That's Morris.
This is Morris. This is Morris. That's his front.
How do you know that's his front?
Does he have eyes?
Nope. He doesn't have a face.
He's
And he's
no
upset
face.
about it.
Yes, but he's very sensitive about it. So.
That actor, I don't even know his name, who played that guy that was the villain, quote unquote, of Iron Man 3. So funny.
Ben Kingsley?
Oh yeah, Ben.
Yes.
Oh, he's amazing.
Oh yeah, he is an absolute top tier actor. I mean, the guy.
He was funny.
Yeah.
They can see you. You're real.
Oh, Shang-Chi, absolutely, 100%. All right, so Adam shares he got caught in a vortex of YouTube watching an hour and a half of Seinfeld bloopers that apparently weren't on the DVD set, was only set to the cast and crew. So that's pretty awesome.
That's where it's coming from. All right.
And Jacob says, I love you, Philip Morris. Jim Carrey, horrible movie. He's all that. Replay the original. She's all that. With some original cast. Entertaining. There you go.
By this time next week, some of the new fall shows will have started.
Yep.
I have not actually paid attention to anything that's coming. That's the new shows that are coming.
There is still non-streaming new TV shows that come out.
Really?
Not everything's on Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
What?
Survivor Wednesday, Reagan.
Watch TV. Oh, I did see that there's a new season of Dancing with the Stars
with Olivia Jade.
Who's on?
Olivia Jade.
Who? I knew nobody but
Lori Laughlin's daughter, who was on Crew.
USC Division I athlete. You mean my table mate from the Bob Saget roast?
Oh my.
Oh yeah, the new Law and Order comes back.
Ah,
that's always fun.
Dun dun.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Oh, the camera went off for London Pietro.
Oh,
no.
They're audio only.
Wow.
Yeah, the morning show it came back, and the only complaint I have is Reese Witherspoon lost her accent that she was doing the whole first season. Now she's just Reese Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
What was her accent?
She was from West Virginia, so she was kind of, like
she's
married
played
to her
that
cousin.
before, like in Sweet Home Alabama. She's had movies where she's done the Southern thing.
All right, so Dancing with the Stars. We've got Jimmy Allen. I don't know who Jimmy Allen is. Melanie C. Come on. Melanie C. from the Spice Girls.
I was going to say Mel C. Yeah, Scary Spice, right?
Emma Baby Bunton.
Brian Austin Green. Brian Austin Green.
Yep.
There's Olivia Jade, for those of you who care, I guess. Matt James. Well, I really don't know.
Who's Martin Cove?
Oh, not JoJo Siwa.
Yeah,
Oh, no. Wow. And then
Carrie Ann Nava is a judge still. Okay, so you got these same
judges. Actually,
same judges. That hasn't changed. That's true.
Wait, Tyra, is she dancing?
No,
she's host. Yeah.
Oh, she's the host. Oh, I was going to say she's kind of a big star compared to the rest of the cast.
It's still a downgrade of hosts, nonetheless.
Oh my gosh, yes.
From what
I
it
didn't
used
want
to be.
Talk about it. Listen,
Yeah.
my friend was like this past season, after Tom Bergeron left, she was like, so I really got into Dancing with the Stars. I have to say I really love it, this and that. I was like, you are watching the worst season of Dancing with the Stars there's ever been. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? And you're over here like, that's the best thing ever? I was so sad.
It's so sad, but
it's like people that get into Great British Baking Show after Mary Berry left, you know?
Dude, after Mel and Sue left.
Yeah, after Mel and Sue left. But it was okay.
It was all right. But Mel and Sue were.
You didn't say that Tom left.
Well, they all left at the same time. They went when they left BBC. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get hired on.
Well, no, they actually left. I don't think it was a.
They didn't want to be on the other.
Yeah, they thought it belonged on BBC. They didn't want to be part of it anymore, and yeah.
Well, I have some exciting things that I shared with Eric that at my local casino, Sheena Easton and Tiffany.
Oh my gosh.
On October 23rd.
The game is, can you tell them apart?
That.
Not really.
From Jeopardy.
It's not,
I don't know how you're not going to go see that show. To me, that
you take the morning train.
Take the morning to strut to the morning train, because you'll think you'll see him there.
I mean, look who else they have. They've got KT Tunstall.
Oh, wow!
They've got Don Felder.
Felder. Yeah.
Sebastian Bach.
The other Dawn from the evening.
And Vogue. Oh
And Vogue. You're never going to get it.
Dang.
And Gaslighter, the Dixie Chicks tribute band, has canceled. Sadly. But
They were gaslighting. Yeah.
This casino is open Sunday to Thursday from 10 to 4 and Friday, Saturday, 20, and they're a smoke-free casino now.
Nice. So
Which I never understood how they can, like, my mom was just in Vegas and people are like wearing masks, but you're allowed to smoke in the casino. I'm like, well, how do you smoke? Like, how can you allow smoking during COVID? It's like, does smoke kill COVID?
Probably.
Only if you lace it with ivermectin.
Ah, the ivermectin, yes.
That'll be the cure. We all have to start taking up smoking.
Yeah,
that's
true.
any movie from the future. There's a lot.
Philip
of
Morris will
smoking going
determine. Yes, that's his.
Yeah.
They'll tax us.
Man, let's start. Man, we got to get in on that.
So Tiffany was an answer on Jeopardy today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who is Tiffany? And the answer was, I don't know.
She had a new
Did she make
Somebody got it right.
Yeah, somebody got it right.
Did she eat breakfast somewhere? I don't know.
Did she come in a light blue box?
It was the easiest question ever. That if you were alive,
Well, I
ever,
didn't know it, but
Nice.
you were in the Marines then, so
Greg wasn't alive during.
Yeah.
yeah, he was in the Marines, so
that's probably in Japan.
Did she have? Were any of her songs original, or did she only do remakes?
No, could have been.
Could have been wasn't a remake.
I don't think could have been was a remake.
Yeah, but I still have forgiven her for I saw him standing there.
And I think we're alone now.
Oh gosh, that was amazing.
that was part of the question, Dan, or part of the answer, Dan, is something about a
This redheaded actress from the '80s who performed in malls and sang, "I think you're alone now."
Exactly. That's
Wow,
all.
that is a
That's
softball.
pretty close.
And probably the first person said, "Who is Debbie Gibson?"
Second person said, "Who is Carrie?"
Well, they also said she had one name. So they
Oh, jeez.
Who is
Yeah,
not
they-
Cher?
It was bad.
Wow. So that was a 100 question, we'll assume.
I'm not even sure.
Amazing. Well,
They had the '80s movie final Jeopardy question.
now did your mom go see Debbie Gibson when she was in Vegas? Joey McIntyre and Debbie Gibson performing in Vegas.
She did not go to that show. She did go to the Michael Jackson tribute Cirque du Soleil show.
Ooh,
Interesting.
And she went to Madame Tussauds.
Yeah.
nice.
She went to the wax museum.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So here's the final Jeopardy question tonight. It was 80s movies was the category. Here's the answer. You have to come up with a question. The dip used to kill characters in this 1988 film consisted of acetone, benzene, and turpentine, ingredients of paint thinner.
Please, yeah, what is Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Here's me going.
Yeah, really.
I had no idea.
Here's what I'd do. I'd go. And then you just wait for Roger to burst out of the back because he can't control himself.
Oh my gosh.
That was the weirdest movie I've ever seen.
I couldn't remember. When I heard it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But I did not remember that movie very much at all. So I couldn't come up with it.
All I remember is The Dip and Jessica Rabbit.
See, I didn't. I remember Jessica Rabbit.
Kathleen Turner. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Well, you do that a little too well.
Yeah, Dave.
My mom shared this with me.
Oh, Zach.
Wow.
I guess they have an entire bachelor party. No, not bachelor party. Hangover.
Wow. The hangover wing.
They have the hangover wing at the thing. Yeah.
And Mike Tyson and his tiger are there.
Yeah, they are.
My goodness. Wax figures are amazing. Speaking of amazing, I found one other thing I wanted to share. Dan, I wasn't sure if you were aware of this or if you've gotten your tickets yet. But here it
works! It works! It works!
Oh my gosh, yes.
This new invention, I'll cut through the fourth dimension.
Oh no.
It works! It works! It works!
Who is that?
I found what I was searching for. It's called the flux capacitor. This just
Oh my God, that's the guy.
Who are the women dancing behind?
Secret was confined.
What is happening?
Back to the Future the musical in London.
Dan, you didn't realize you've gone to hell. That's very subtle, but
I didn't see how I could die until I put my mind to it. It works. It works.
Oh my God.
this looks like John C. Reilly.
Yeah, he does.
Because it works. It works. The world will write my story in.
Why do all musicals have that voice?
It doesn't go.
The time continuum.
Yeah, that's not the right singing voice for Doc Brown.
No.
Oh.
He should be more like Rex Harrison in My Fair Lady.
It works. It works. It works.
This is like Back to the Future meets Grease.
Yes, I can't wait until this comes to Secret Shrimp
This is a badass.
for the arts in like 2026. Okay, but let's be honest, that was still better than Back to the Future 3.
Wow. Yes, the casino.
No, it was better than Somewhere in Time, but it wasn't better than Back to the Future 3.
Yeah, I would rate that higher.
No, I would watch Somewhere in Time again rather than watch that musical.
Oh,
Somewhere in Time.
I will totally watch that musical.
But that
and
same
forget-
song could actually be in 1912. He's like, I'm here in 1912. It works.
Yeah, but,
it works.
but that 1
I
minute
just feel
clip
in my
had more
mind. It
action than
works.
all of Somewhere in Time did.
No, hold on. Straight up. As a theater kid and somebody who gave Somewhere in Time an 11%, I would watch Somewhere in Time for the whole entire day before I went to that musical.
Wow, challenge accepted.
You may not think it was a success, but I think it works. It works. It works.
You know what? It's a snappy tune. We're gonna remember it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
Speaking of
I'm
remembering,
get that out of my head for a decade.
on this day,
Earworm.
on this day in 2004, in Santa Barbara, overlooking a cliff, I got married and didn't jump off the cliff.
And
It
so
works.
And I'm here tonight doing a show
I was just going to say, why are you here?
because it's Monday and there's like no place open. We're gonna go out Thursday night. We're actually going out like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. So,
Oh, good. Okay.
All right, that sounds appropriate.
so happy anniversary to my wife.
Happy anniversary.
Not to me, but to
Happy
my wife.
anniversary.
Because just like Wade and Eric and Dave, I too married up.
That's right.
It's the only way to go.
Yes. And I don't know that any of us can argue that without getting in trouble.
I like that caveat. You sort of ruined it with that little end clause.
I'm joking. None of us can-
There is the
No, honestly, I don't have many friends that have not married up. I'll be honest. a lot of lucky men I know.
If you're 50.
Yeah. What about it?
It's something. I tried to open the link that Dave sent.
Is that an ad?
Came with commercials.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, I've got the commercial. Which one is it?
Hold on, bring it up.
Would you rather watch all of this than watch that Back to the
Okay.
Future clip again?
Bring this up. Hold on. Here it is. Let me see. Or somewhere in time. That's the question. Would it be
Roger Rabbit.
the Careless Whisper saxophone loop for 10 hours?
Oh, I would love to listen to this forever. Who are you kidding me? You guys don't love Careless Whisper saxophone?
But 10 hours of just that one 7-second clip looped over and over.
Oh, that's all it is?
I could do. I'd be okay with that.
It all depends on
Kenny G playing it.
Oh, not Kenny.
It all
G.
depends on how good the loop is.
It's seamless. They did an excellent job.
Will this loop get us kicked off?
We could hope so.
And I do have to go pick up sushi soon.
Yeah, this has been viewed 3.8 million times. Just saying. The internet's a wild place. So all right. Well, that's fantastic. Well, either watch that or Somewhere in Time or
Back to the Future.
Watch Back to the Future.
What's the movie next week again?
Apollo 13. Oh my goodness. Thanks to Adam, we all get to enjoy Apollo 13. Failure is not an option. So prepare thyself. How long is this movie? Does anybody know?
I think it's real time, so it takes
in
place
real
about
time,
4 days.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Tom Hanks is really good in this. And Bill Paxton, sadly, I believe he's the Bill that died, right? Or was it Bill Pullman? No, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton.
I get my Pullman Paxton mixed up all the time.
Yeah, same.
And Ed Harris is wonderful.
Lone Star, and then there's another one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Lone Star.
Gary Sinise, Ed Harris. Yeah, good cast. No, second Gary Sinise movie.
I've never seen this.
Ron Howard's dad's in it, or his mom.
His dad and his brother.
And his brother, Clint.
Really? Mr. and Mrs. Cunningham? Mr. and Mrs. Cunningham are in this?
Mrs. C.
Yeah. And they play Blueberry Hill.
No.
Hey, Lori Beth.
Amazing. All right. So all that and more next Monday night. And of course, Saturday, Dan and Rafi will be doing some amazing car talk on the big Clutch Radio show.
It's all going to be about Back to the Future, the musical, and the props used in it.
I think so. Dan will be like,
The fiberglass DeLorean that they use in the musical.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a wonderful week. Enjoy the movie, and we will see you back here once again. Have a great week, everybody. See ya.
Goodbye.